Hi everyone, I'm Theresa V, and this is the place to be if you're a sensitive or an empath who wants to feel more alive and live more on purpose. In this video, I'll be sharing 3 tips so that you can succeed as an empath. In no way, shape, or form are these the only 3 ways to create success, but these are 3 ways that you can start doing it today. What many sensitive people don't realize is how much extra energy they have to navigate every single day. It's like upon waking up in the morning, there's this mountain to climb before you even get to work or to school or begin doing the list of things that you have to do for that particular day. We've spent so much time in our lives being told that we're too sensitive and overcompensating for the sensitivity that we have, that we're so used to being near or in burnout because we're using up all of our energy trying to function at a standard that has been set by people who are not sensitive to the same degree that we are. This doesn't make us better than them. It doesn't make us worse than them. It makes the things that we have to consider slightly different. And it's by considering these things that we can reclaim so much of our energy so that we can have more available to us instead of functioning from deficit all the time. And there are so many ways that we can start this process. The first is protecting ourselves. We need to be very clear. This is not self-protection from a place of fear. All that does is increase the amount of energy that we're trying not to deal with. What we want to do is protect ourselves from a place of power, from a place of understanding the sensitivity that we carry. We don't necessarily want to approach every situation with the idea that it's going to be an energetic battle, that it's going to be us swimming upstream. When we protect ourselves from fear, our energy contracts. We make ourselves smaller. We hide so that other people and other energies can't find us, to dump on us, to ask us to help, to bring us more than we are equipped currently to deal with. We have to release the expectation that every encounter will create such a depleted state in our systems that we have absolutely nothing left for anything else. When we can release self-protection from this fearful place, from the point of view of all of the experiences we've had in the past, of not wanting other people's energy, of not wanting them to be able to find us, of experiencing too much that we had no control over, we then come into our own power around this. We are making a decision to protect ourselves rather than coming from a reaction. There are so many ways for us to do this, but the most effective, the most successful way across the board is to be in our practice, whatever that is for you. We need to make sure every day we are doing the things that fill us up. Because when we are full to capacity, when we are overflowing with energy, then there's no place for other people's energy to push its way in. That can only happen when there is a space, when there is a need, when there is an opening. So when you are sleeping well, doing your practice, doing your meditation, exercising, whatever that is for you, when you are doing those things and you're coming to your day feeling filled up, you will be much more successful. You will naturally be in a state of protection because your energy will be brimming, will be shining out into the world, and there will be no place for other energies to move in. Though we are ultimately spiritual beings, we are not only that, we are also human. We are in this body that needs to be cared for. So we have to remember, when we're hungry or angry or feeling lonely or tired, we are in a state of need. We are not having our basic needs fulfilled adequately. If we don't notice that right away and address those situations, those are the times when we are more likely to overextend ourselves or to move into a situation when we already are at an energetic deficit. The sooner we can recognize those things in ourselves, those states of being, those states of need, then we can fulfill our own needs. We can keep our energy up at the highest possible level, and we will have less of those experiences that leave us feeling flattened or like someone has taken all of our energy, or that we have just overextended ourselves and it's going to take weeks to get ourselves back to where we need to be. We have to look at these things like we do meals. When you're hungry, you need to eat. So when your energy is feeling depleted, when you're feeling like you don't have anything left to give, then you need to go and replenish yourself somehow. The second way is to change your outlook on the B word. Boundaries are notoriously difficult for sensitives and for empaths. We expect people to be really rocked by the boundaries that we put up. Honestly, if that's happened in the past, it's probably because we've never had any boundaries and people are shocked when we decide that we're going to have some. And it takes a little while for that adjustment to sink in. But if we stand by those boundaries, people will get used to them and they will naturally start abiding by them. It can be very painful for us in the process of deciding to enact those boundaries and hold them, because we are sensitive. We feel what the other person is feeling and we feel like we should be there to help them through those emotions, when that's really not our place. Our place is to decide what is best for us, because when we decide what is best for us, we can actually show up better for other people. When we have boundaries, we can stop showing up in the ways that don't serve us or others, conserve that energy and put it into the ways that really would best serve. Boundaries equal love. Love for ourselves as well as love for other people. So many of us think of boundaries as brick walls. That this is a brick wall and it can never be taken down and it can never be passed. But boundaries are soft, they're malleable, and they're movable, and that's the best part of them. Think of them like the bumpers in the bowling lane. When someone goes too far off course, they just bounce off and come back to center, or they come back closer to center. And that's your boundary. You keep guiding them to the kind of relationship that is okay for you to have with them. So for example, if you have a family member that is coming to you complaining incessantly about another family member who you love both of these people, and this is just taxing to you emotionally, physically, mentally, all of the things. By allowing them to come to you and dump all of this on you, you're taxing yourself and you're also preventing them from getting the assistance that they need to move through and navigate these feelings, because this is not your place. Your place is to be their family member and to love them. They might need somebody professional to help guide them through this. And if you don't have that boundary, they are never going to find that. They are never going to come back to the empowerment of what they can do to change the situation. So when you create a boundary, you're giving somebody back the dignity of their own process. They have to then figure out how they're going to work through this. And you can even say, this isn't my place. I cannot speak to you about this person in this way anymore. I think you might need professional help. I would love to be here for you to help you navigate through whatever changes you decide to make here, but I can't be the one listening to you complain about them all the time. That is not my place. And that may feel really harsh for you because you are so sensitive and you're so used to not speaking these kinds of things, but the freedom that will come on the end of that for you and for the other person, once they navigate their surprise and they navigate the feelings they have around that, once that all happens, there will be so much more flow in all directions of the relationship. And just remember, when you enact a boundary, the relationship may need to change for a little while, but the heart connection that you have can grow stronger. And for connections that you have that are truly heart-based, any strangeness will work itself out and they will be so much more able to meet you where you want to meet them and where they are capable of meeting you in every moment. Remember, just as children test their boundaries all the time, adults do the same thing. We test to see how far we can push. What is this interaction going to look like? How do things need to shift and change? We're constantly playing those energetic games of interaction. So When you establish a boundary, people know. They don't have to play the game. They don't have to guess. They know exactly what is okay and what is not, and they will stay within those parameters. Often you don't even have to speak the boundary. The way you interact with that person should speak to that boundary. This is the way we're going to interact, and we are not going to cross into this territory. Even though they may push, if you continue to hold your boundary, there will be no question, and that person will understand how it is appropriate to interact with you, and you will understand how it is appropriate to interact with them. This is also something that you can set with universe. You can set with your guides. Decide how much energy you are willing to feel from other people, from situations, and in what situation it is okay with you to do so. And you can establish those boundaries with universe, with your guides, with the divine, because you are here in this human body. You know how much energy you can process and handle at any point in time. And again, this can change. If you're really under a tight deadline this week, maybe your agreement is that you want to feel less of this universal energy because you need that energy to accomplish a project at work. So you can continue to have this dialogue with universe and decide what your energetic boundaries are in general and adjust those and shift and change those as necessary as well. Remember, ultimately, you are in charge of how much energy you feel and how you feel it. Sometimes just figuring out what your boundaries are changes everything. The third and perhaps the most overlooked tip of all for sensitive empaths is to eat and ingest well. So much of the time, we are so busy giving to others that we forget that it's important for us to fuel ourselves in so many ways. And if we get hungry, we just grab whatever's closest, or we grab whatever's fastest, or we even maybe skip a meal. What we need to remember is that we need to be well nourished in all ways, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And ingesting well comes in all of these realms. What are we reading? What are we watching on TV? What are we eating? What are we listening to? That all fuels us from the inside. But perhaps the most important way of all for us to think about is, what are we eating? We can navigate so much energy just by making simple shifts and changes based on what we need to create and co-create in our world. Our bodies are built from the food that we eat. So our cells are literally pulling pieces of the food, nutrients from the food that we eat to create themselves, to replicate themselves. And so the quality of your cells directly correlates to the quality of what you are eating. This is a very simple way for us to start creating power and strength from the inside. And if we're doing that one time in a week that we have to grab something on the go will not have as great an impact. And this is the benefit to being sensitive. When we go to the farmer's market or we go to the grocery store, the foods that will help us to create what we want to create in our lives will make themselves obvious to us. We'll be walking past beets, and we may never have even considered eating beets before, but we'll start salivating, or they'll just look really extremely gorgeous, and we feel like we have to have them. This over time is what will happen when we start to pay attention, start looking around what's growing in my area, and just start eating more of those foods. So if you're in the middle of the fall, what's growing in my area naturally at this time of year, and start eating more of those foods. You will then be able to counter the energy that's coming at you through the weather. Nature provides the antidote for whatever we are experiencing in our lives in any given season. So if the weather is hot, nature provides foods that are naturally cooling. If the weather is cold, nature provides foods that are naturally heating. So start to pay attention to that. And that simple shift, eating more of the foods that are growing in your area at the time, can actually start changing energy for you so much in even the first week. Remember, no matter what anybody says, things look different to us. Things feel different to us. We feel things and understand them and know them at such a greater degree than most of the population. We need to give ourselves permission to own that truth about ourselves so that we can start living in harmony with it, as opposed to fighting against it the way we were instructed to do. The only reason people did that is because they didn't understand. They didn't know how to teach us any better or any differently. You might even have been told that your sensitivity was a weakness, and this couldn't be further from the truth. Your sensitivity is actually a superpower, and it's one that this world sorely needs. It exists in you because you are perfectly suited. You were created exactly correctly to do the work that you are here to do in this lifetime. You are so needed exactly as you are. So let it be easy. Start with these 3 tips and let us know. Leave us a comment. Let us know what's working for you. Let us know how your life is shifting as you bring more of these things into your life. I'm so grateful that you're here and that I get to share this community space with you. Thank you, as always, for sharing these videos out far and wide with everyone who needs them. And if you would like daily energetic support, check out the membership. The link is in the comments below this video or in the description itself. Within the membership, you'll receive energy work and angelic transmissions every single day. And if you want to dive even deeper, consider joining the Healthy Vibrant You 8-week program. It's opening in the beginning of next year, but you can enroll now. Again, the link is in the description of this video or in the comments section below. I look so forward to being able to support you in your further growth and evolution. I am so grateful for you, who you are, and how you show up, and I can't wait to be back here with you again soon. Bye, everyone.